Models. We have three different types of models: epistemic, deontic, and dynamic. And we have possibility, necessity, will, would. Possibility with epistemic, logical possibility. Necessity with epistemic, logical necessity. Will, would with epistemic is a high probability. Deontic. Deontic with possibility is a permission or a lack of permission. Deontic with necessity is an obligation or lack of obligation. Deontic with necessity is an obligation or lack of obligation or an interdiction. Will or would plus deontic equals obligation. Dynamic with possibility is ability or disposition or habit. Necessity with dynamic is insist or stubborn. And will, would plus dynamic is a habit. Kids will be kids. Accidents will happen. Epistemic, logical deduction. John may be here. Or John may be home. Or John must be love. Must be home. Next, speaker oriented. Lui îi aparține deducția logică. Dynamic. John can speak 5 languages. Subject oriented. Deontic. Laws or norms. Obligăm, permitem unui subiect gramatical. If you must know. Dynamic. Possibility. Examine. Scope of negation. Scope of. For example, he may not come with us. This is ambiguous. We have he may, epistemic, not come, internal negation. It is possible that he come with us. He is allowed to come, deontic. Scope of negation, internal or external. So, we have internal, more than neg, proposition affirmative. So we have subject plus model plus not plus verb. So, negația afectează verbul, may not come. It's possibly necessary not to. Paraphrase. Verb. It is possible for John not to come. Okay. External negation. Negative at modal. Or negative before. Okay. So we have proposition negative. Subject plus modal plus not. Not is for the modal plus verb. Not possible. Possible is the M. So, no permission for him to come. 3. Internal epistemic ambiguous. B. You can come back. Deontic external ambiguous. A. I'll stand next to her. Should hide. Necessity deontic. Nobody should. Epistemic. A. Must understand. You are obliged to understand. This is a paraphrase. Understand is deontic. You probably understand. Epistemic. B. Can you discuss the mission? Dynamic. Are you able to discuss? Physic, emotional. Deontic. Are you allowed to discuss? This is the legal part. C. He need not get his reward. He need not get his reward. Deontic. There is no need or it's not necessary. This is an external negation. Epistemic. It's not necessarily this case. It's not, nu e neapărat cazul acesta. They must be American. This is epistemic. They needn't be American. Be American is a state verb and we have epistemic. We shouldn't assume that. It is not necessarily the case. External negation. We must, deontic, make a sacrifice to the gods. He must have seen that she was making it up. Epistemic. Must, deontic, negation. Două modalități de negare. Mustn't, needn't, don't need. We must not make. This is interdiction and it's deontic. Obliged not to make, internal negation. We don't need, we needn't make. This is deontic, but is lack of obligation. We are not obligated to do the thing. This is external negation. B. He must have seen that she was making it up. This is epistemic. Forme de negare pentru epistemic cu must. He needn't have seen that. Not necessarily the case that. This is an external negation. He can have seen that. It is not logically possible. Not is for logically, so we have external negation. Has to be epistemic. Doesn't have to be epistemic, not necessary external negation. Cannot crash dynamic internal negation. It is possible for us not to crash. Okay, so this is the meaning. Can't, external. Shouldn't, deontic, internal. Needn't, needed, answer, deontic. Don't have to answer, not obliged to answer. This is external. E. Didn't have to, epistemic. It is not necessarily the case. This is the external negation. Could have been, epistemic. G. Must not have known, epistemic. There is a probability that she died, not now. G. F. Can be thinking epistemic. The scope of perfect, internal, modal plus have plus verb, and the scope of perfect for external, mode plus have, which these are together, plus verb. Ar fi putut să-l recunoască. Putut is the modal, fi este perfect, perfect is before modal. She could have been recognized, epistemic. Ar fi putut să fie recunoscut. So we have external. Se poate să fi fost recunoscută. Se poate modal plus perfect. This is internal. Ok, so we have external, ar fi putut să fie recunoscută sau se poate să fi fost recunoscută internal. Epistemic, internal perfect, dynamic or deontic, external perfect, usually, de obicei. 10.2 or 10/2. He needn't have changed the password. Deontic, external negation. N-ar fi fost necesar să schimbe parola. Fi, perfectul, fost, modalul. This is external perfect. It is not logically necessary that he has changed the password. So, not necessarily is necessarily the mode. Perfect has changed. So it's an internal perfect. Necessarily has changed, but it's an external negation, not necessarily. This is an epistemic phrase. Next, it would not have been necessary for him to change. So here we have negation, perfect, and modal, which is deontic. So that's why we have an external negation and an external perfect.